So I would then mute everyone so that we have seamless recording. Okay, so this is the fourth day. As you can see from your screen, some of the things we'll be looking at. Honestly, we have covered most of the key structural things. Okay, but you know that when a sculptor makes his item, then he begins to fine-tune it and make it more beautiful. When we went through the art of scientific writing, one of the things we discussed was whether scientific writing is an art or science. Okay, and in that course, I persuaded you to think of it as both an intersection of science and art. And the art part is where you now use your skills to make your story admirable and beautiful to read. The same goes to grant writing, where you can make your grant writing a beauty to read. So some of those extra things we're going to cover today. We're going to cover today. So at the end of Friday, we were able to look at the method section, look at impact, and then a bit of the budget. So I hand over to you. Do you have questions related to what we discussed on these issues on Friday, please, or other questions that may be bothering you? It's your time. Just raise your hand and I will recognize you. Questions, observations? Okay, I have Jerita.
Okay, good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, there's something that came up in our group about our project. Were we supposed to use the funders that or are we just to write a project?
No, you're not supposed to use the funder, just write a funding application.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any other? Okay, I have Olusegun, please.
Good morning, please.
Morning.
Yeah, as at the time we're closing on Friday, Group 6 was unable to share the slide and present the Nugget 6.
Yeah, they will do so. They will do so.
Okay, I'm going to know the time.
Yeah, we'll do it now. We'll do it now. I will let you know soon. So please get ready.
Thank you very much, please.
All right, I have Titilayo.
Okay, Prof. Can we take the significance of the study for impact? Like in humanities, we normally have a section for significance of the study. Does it stand for impact?
Yeah, so like I said, some disciplines may use that interchangeably.
Okay.
But generally, when you say significance, you are trying to highlight why that study is important. And then the impact would be what the benefits would be after the study is done. So they are not the same thing formally, but in some disciplines there is an interchange between those terminologies. So you can stick to what your discipline is expecting. All right, I have Usman Mustafa. Usman, you can unmute yourself, please.
Yeah, thank you, sir, for the beautiful presentation we have had since. But during the course of the lecture, you said something about the proposal, that they can send this proposal to anybody, irrespective of the discipline. So I'm worried, because like if I wrote a paper in my area now, and they send a paper of mathematics to somebody in chemistry, to that paper, please, I'm worried when you said it last week.
Yeah, what I mean by that is that it's unusual that you have such cross-disciplinary review. Okay, so what I mean is that your reviewer may not be expert on that topic. It doesn't mean not an expert in that discipline. Okay, so it's an issue of topic. So you may have somebody in physics, okay, who is into the physical world, and then give him grant application from quantum physics. Okay, it's not that he's an expert there, but he has an idea of some aspect, and he's able to provide some comments on how the application is. So you wouldn't get somebody who is doing theology and the application is sent to somebody who is an economics. You wouldn't get that. It's not in that situation. So economics will receive applications from economics, but the details of the topics may not be something somebody is an expert into, per se. Is it clear? Usman, your network is not good. All right, any other question?
Yes, sir.
The knowing your founder, I said I will get it today. You're not presenting it. You will send what you have done to me today, and I will upload that on the Google Drive of the course. So you are not presenting that assignment, but you are sending it to me at the end of today, and I will upload for everyone to have access to what the other groups have done. That is clear. All right, any other question? All right, so we will continue. All right, I have group six, please. It's time for you to present your nugget you didn't present last Friday.
Okay, thank you. I shall be doing that.
All right.
Thank you, please. So I hope I'm on now.
You are on, you can put on presentation mode. Down your slide, there's something that looks like a cup close to the slider. You can press that. Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Are we okay?
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
So you can start from the beginning.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. We am very sorry for not taking this last week, but we thank God for the opportunity we have again. So Group 6, we had a discussion on, after the fall, what to do when your grant is rejected. And this article is authored by James Mitchell Crow. We were able to get all this, that grant is competitive and rejection is common. So it is never a sin if your grant is being rejected or follows any condemnation. And we're able to learn again that the success rate usually is low. For example, in 2017, for this body that gave this funder, they have the success percentage of 20.5 out of a lot of them that really applied, and the welcome trust to 20%. And in 2019, we have 70% success. So the good idea do not always translate to great success. For the fact that you have a very good write-up, you have a very good proposal for grant may not really mean that, okay, it's going to be successful. At least we have been coming across this. And the rejection does not mean that your work is blemish or is not good. And at times, some of the reasons why some grants are being rejected is could be that the funder's budget is low compared to what you proposed in a grant. Now, tips on handling rejection. We we learned that there's every need for us to encourage ourselves. We should realize that we are not alone. At least we have our colleagues, we have our collaborators. Let us interact and discuss that. It is never the end of everything. So when we fall, we'll rise again. Then we'll give ourselves time, or you give yourself some time to freshen up, then you go back to it. Talk to others about it. It is something that is normal to relate with your colleagues, your mentor, and so on about the rejection. It is not a mark that will remain with you for life, Then go back to it and revise the proposal. You understand? Listen to the comments, pay attention to all the comments and the feedback. Make sure you do due diligence. Then seek for the feedback from within and outside your network. So when you share it with people that are relevant, so listen to their comments and make sure you annex all the comments, harvest them and annex them together, and make sure you put all those together in the review. Then diversify your efforts in grant application as well. Don't always look at one source or one funder and be facing that. Check with other funders and see if it can go. And that takes us to split your research ideas to increase your proposal. Then there are practical steps to take after rejection. We know quite well that it's painful. Everybody loves success. Everybody loves, good news and so on. But when it happens, so like I said, it's not the end of it all. It's not like somebody will now talk like the friend of Dr. Bright, that these people don't like my face. It's just that we have to really get things done. And you can particularly contact the funder to have the comprehensive feedback on their comment on the review of your proposal for grants. So that will really make you to know exactly where you are lacking, and seek emotional support and advice from colleagues and your network and your mentors. Then source for alternative funders as well, that has been said. Then you can as well still extend your relationship, your collaboration, to companies, to industries, and so on and so forth. Then we have to reassess the reason for rejection and improve on it. That has been mentioned. And that will make us, or make you to gather more experience and so on. Then you reapply where possible. Then we learn that success rate usually becomes a bit higher for the second application with the same funder, because you must have gotten some skills, you must have been experienced, you must have gotten an idea of how they really wanted things to go. And we are being warned again that we should never rush to reapply. Make sure you have taken all aspects, as we have been told that all facets in the grant writing is very, very important. Make sure you do that, and we take our time to improve on the proposal very well. Then perseverance is good for us to persevere very well and pay due attention to it and never give up. Failed funding applications are inevitable. Yes, it's common, but perseverance can pay dividends. James Mitchell Crow. Then the key is not the will to win. Everybody has that. It is the will to prepare to win that is important. Bobby Knight. Thank you. We appreciate you, sir.
Great. That is great. That is wonderful, Olusegun and Group 6. It quite aligns so much with what we are going to be discussing this morning and today. I had a research visit 11 years ago to the University of Aberdeen. Of course, this was not on a grant. This was on a scientific publication. I mean, the issue I'm going to highlight now. And so I had my professor, my host, who was to take me. I arrived there, I think on a Wednesday, and he promised to take me around the city and to shop and show me around on Friday afternoon. We agreed to meet around 2. So by 12 noon, he came and said, what happened? I'm not ready yet. He said, Bright, please, if you can just get ready, let's go. I'm not so happy. I can't continue work there. So I had to come early. And so I wanted to know what the problem is. And then he started telling me, those who are in the field of medicine or health, you know, the journal called Lancet. Lancet is one of the top medical journals in the world. And so they submitted a paper. He and his colleagues submitted a paper to Lancet. And that day, Lancet sent them the decision, and it was rejection. And so he was discouraged. And the reason for his discouragement was that, I mean, he's a professor, he has published widely, was that he was not happy for the reason for rejection. And because there were 3 reviewers who were asked to review the paper, and two advised the journal to accept after revision, but 1 advised rejection. And if you know how the publishing landscape is, 2 overweighed 3, really. But also the journal had to match whatever decision of the reviewers within their own priority areas. But eventually, he was saying that this topic was a hot topic, and he knows by perception the one who had recommended rejection. He's a top guy in the area, and he sees him as their competitor. And so it will be difficult for Lancet to say reverse, and we are willing to accept it if that guy has recommended rejection. So he was voicing the political aspect of science that happens there, you know. That discouraged him. That discouraged him a lot. But you know, just to highlight what Olusegun presented this morning, that that your grant is rejected doesn't mean that you have not done a good job. Sometimes some sentiments can come in. Really, there is competition in the landscape that people take personal sometimes. All right, it's not common. It's not common. It's something that happens once in a while, but it's there. But the key thing here now is that the rejection of your grant is not a confirmation that you have not done a good job. It may be, it may also not be. The key thing here now, Group 6 is saying that you have to reassess what you have done. Yeah. Take the comment of the viewers into account and know that that is not the end. Don't go about like my friends saying that these people don't like my face because they didn't even ask you to put your passport there to see. They don't know what your face looks like, you know. So please, this is a journey. You know, when you enter into this area, is a journey. Some years can be fantastic. Some years can be disappointing. And I told you last year, I didn't get any of the grants I applied. Of course, it's not a good feeling you have, but that is what we are. So when you understand yourself in the system, this is how it works. You will then be able to morally and psychologically adapt yourself. Improvement is the goal. Improvement is the goal in what you do, and sooner or later the cost will be clear for you. All right, I have Eunice raising her hand. Olusegun, you can stop sharing. Then.
Thank you.
Thank you. So good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, thank you, Olusegun, for the beautiful presentation. I have a worry on the issue of sending the same proposal to many funders, because all the funders are usually very connected people, and then I don't know if you send to many of them at once the same proposal, the same grant proposal. How does it work?
Okay, Eunice, that is not a problem. Okay, it's not a problem. In fact, it's a sign that you are really serious. You want to get this money. Okay. Yes. When you send your proposal to particular funders, usually they have a question: is this submitted to another funder? Okay, and you have to disclose that.
If you have,
you have to disclose that. No, you can't lie. You know, we are serious people here, so we can't lie. You just have to tell them yes, that you have sent it to another funder. Some funders are not unhappy when you receive two funding or two grants for the same project you can use, but some funders would tell you, if you succeed in the others, you should let them know so they can give the money to others, so that you will not use the same funding for the same project.
Now, what about the grants that you prepare following the template of a particular funder, or you can prepare it and then when you go to another funder, you change the template?
Of course, okay. you need that is the first thing we discuss here. Know your funder. So if you are submitting to funder A, and usually they have a template that is different from funder B, if you're taking it to funder B, adhere to their prescription. Okay, adhere to their prescription. That is why funding applications are tedious, because if you are sending to 10 funders in a year, you have to adapt to each of them. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So what happens is that with regards to applying to more than one funder is that rarely would a funder give you all the money you requested for. Rarely would they do that. If you request for $1 million, that is what is required to implement your project. then the funder, because of the scarcity of funds, may end up giving you $150,000 or $500,000. And so if you apply to other funders and then they also give you small part of that, you can put everything together, you know. And then if one particular funder is asking if you receive funding from other, you can then tell them that you got this amount, the project cost this, and so you put things together. So it's not a problem. Just apply to as many funders as possible.
Thank you.
All right. I have James Arthur here.
Good morning, Doc.
Good morning. Good morning, James.
I want to ask something. Yeah, in an event where your proposal is rejected by the funder, Doc, is it possible to inquire from the funder why your proposal was rejected?
Yeah, because this goes to reviewers. In most cases, they will provide you with reviewers' comments. Okay. If you're not happy, don't put on your boxing this and go there, and you can call them and say, well, the reviewers' comment came and they don't understand some things. In most cases, they will tell you, James, please apply again next year. Okay. Mind you, depending on the size of the funder, they can have thousands of applications and they may not be able to know all the reasons why the reviewers made what they have made. So you know, in the big funders, what they do is that they have groups. They have, for instance, if you look at chemistry, they may have up to 10 groups within chemistry, and they have a chair for each group, have members of each group, and the members will take care of the grants that come to their group, and then they will review. So it's not an easy thing, but usually they will give you the reviewers' comments, which you can use to know what the challenge with your application is. Is that clear for you, James?
Yes, please. Yes, please. Thank you very much.
All right. Any other? All right. So we will go on now. All right. Threats of success. Threat of success, as I mentioned earlier, is not only Olusegun presented it. It's not only the will to win. It's not only the will to win. You also need to have some other qualities that really put you on a winning landscape. So now we are going to be looking at this issue. So I want you, the big question is, what makes a successful scientist? Raise your hand and please let us know. Let's discuss this. What makes a successful scientist? Please raise your hand and let's go through this. What makes it successful? Some of you are very successful here. And so let us know what has made you successful. Yeah, the hands are coming. I will start with Mwori.
I think there are several reasons, but what I've seen is the influence in science. For example, those who make groundbreaking studies, coming up with very innovative ideas, that becomes very influential in a certain field of study. Thank you.
Innovative ideas. Innovative ideas. Okay, then I have Michael.
Yes, sir. Thank you. What I think being successful means someone who is knowledgeable in science, in the field, I mean.
Mm-hmm. You are
Yes.
knowledgeable, then that gives you success.
Yes.
All right, I have Japsia.
Good morning to all. Good morning, Prof.
Good morning.
In my opinion, is what makes the impact of what can make it is the impact of his research on the life of the population, and also in the innovative aspect of his field.
Mm-hmm. Your expertise and your innovativeness. All right, I have Ifani.
All right, sir. You know, when you asked this question, what came to my mind is Thomas Edison, the scientist who actually innovated the light bulb. So actually, I remember how much he fell and picked himself up again, and then continued to try until he got what he wanted, and then that innovation has been ascribed to his name now. So it's about resilience, being persistent, and then a scientist will also learn from his mistake, like he did. He learned from the various mistakes, how many times he has not gotten it right, and then he was able to make this correction. And also, I feel another thing is to get to know the scholars in my field and also learn from them, reading a lot from them. So these are the make a good scientist.
Yeah, thanks very much. So if Ifani, the key word here is perseverance, is it? Perseverance, persistence, perseverance. All right, the next in the line is Pantaleon.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
A successive scientist has to be determined. Determination.
Determination. Yeah. All right, thanks very much. And John.
Okay, thank you, Prof, and good morning to all. So the last speaker just said what I had to say. You may have the knowledge, you may have the money, but if you are not determined, you may not be successful. So it's the determination to contribute to societal development.
Mm-hmm. Great. Determination, and then I have Grace Udoyen.
Thank you very much.
Grace, your line is not good for us. Not good at all. Grace, your line is not good. I think you have to resolve that and come in again. All right, I have Egunjobi.
Good morning, our moderator and everyone.
Morning.
I think what makes a successful scientist is unrelenting ability and learning from one's mistakes. Makes one a successful scientist. Thank you.
Unrelenting and learning from your mistakes. All right. And I have Onyedikachi Aswama.
Good morning, everyone. Okay,
morning.
I feel what makes a good scientist are the crucial facts or the crucial principles, which is being able to be observant. A good scientist, a successful scientist is one who is a critical thinker. The person has to be objective as well.
Great. Observant, have an eye as an ego, a critical thinker. Okay, that is great. And I have Kasim Akuwumi. Kasim, unmute yourself and speak.
Thank you, Prof. As in addition to all what have been said earlier, and with reference to what you have been teaching us, you said collaboration is actually indeed a determinant of success.
Collaboration. All right. And then,
do you hear me, Prof?
I heard you. You say collaboration, so that is fine. I have Izichukwu Obi.
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity. In addition to what others have said, To be successful, one need to have a good communication skills, because you can do whatever you did very well. If you're not able to communicate well, it may not sell. Also, one should be able to put together and manage a good team, because two good heads are always better than one. Thank you.
All right. I have Emmanuel Owalaka.
All right. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yeah, apart from just an addition to all what has been said, I want to also believe that what would make a scientist successful is when his products speak for him. His products could be in the form of collaboration, could be in form of publications, could be in form of grants he has won. Where he is, these products are speaking for him in the outside world and international world. I think that's one of the reasons why he could feel very successful. Thank you, sir.
All right, and I have Leah.
Good morning.
Good morning, Leah.
Adding to others said, I think a successful scientist are those who have courage to recognize even if they failed the experiment and turn them to become successful. Thank you.
Thank you. And I have Mona Ahmed.
Good morning, Prof.
Good morning.
I think what makes scientists successful is passionate about his or her career and resilient and detail-oriented by yet visionary, a creative thinker, determined, acknowledgement, a team player, self-motivated, an effective communicator.
Wow.
Thank you.
Mona, maybe I hand over this lecture this morning to you.
Thank you, bro.
Because you have given us everything we need to know. Okay, I have my prof, Oluwatoyin Tayo.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Prof, and good morning, group members.
Yes, please.
In addition to all that has been said, I just want to add that ability to keep learning, that is to be at the frontier of knowledge, will be a good mark of a successful scientist. Another one is the ability to mentor others. As you are improving, you're growing, you're also bringing up others in your network. Thank you.
Those are very key. Those are very key characteristics of success, really. And I have to highlight those because you wouldn't know what it means to be in the position to teach others. Sometimes you think that you're spending so much energy to do this. But to be frank with you, when you teach, you learn. When you teach, you learn. When you mentor, you learn. And then honestly, you improve yourself. Okay, so that is one of the secrets. I have some of my students I have brought up. Honestly, they are doing better than me in the areas I brought them up, and that gives joy actually. So I can attend their classes to learn, the ability to learn and to improve. All right, I have James here.
Yeah. What I can also say here is that a good scientist must be someone interested in experimenting and then also publish the results and willing to accept the feedback that will come out of publication. Thank you.
You are willing to get criticisms, work on your criticisms. Yeah. Then I have Olufunke Shitu.
Good morning, Prof. Good morning, all.
Morning.
In addition to all that has been said, I believe that a scientist's problem-solving skill is highly important. The impact of the study, the long-term and short-term impact of the study, and also the publication in highly rated journals. Thank you.
All right. All right, thanks very much for that. And I have Ahmed Abi.
Good morning, Prof.
Morning.
Good morning, everyone. Addition to what other have said, I want only to add one thing. As our Prof said, to understand the language of the funders, it means you have to follow the directions. To afford having your proposal rejected, you need to follow the instruction. Thank you, Prof.
Thank you. And finally, Alice Wafula.
Morning, Prof, and thank you. I think the ability to keep learning, because it's amazing how much we learn on a daily basis, like we are learning now. There are many things I've learned that I didn't know. And I think the more you learn, the more you get to understand more about the world out there. And then secondly, I think an element of humility, so that you collaborate in a manner that suggests that you don't know it all. You need to share your ideas and come together and actually come up with something that is innovative. Thank you, Prof.
Thank you, Alice. Thank you, everyone. I think we can all agree with all you have said. I've given everybody the opportunity who wanted to speak to air their view, because it is good to see these things from different perspectives. Okay. Many times you may look at yourself and you compare yourself with other colleagues and you see that, well, I am not doing as well as the others. And then you begin to personalize this issue so much. But there is a global trend of what makes people successful. We have to live life, okay? We have to live life. We're in the world, and I tell you, you are not the first scientist. You are not the first person to write a grant. People have done it and done it and done it. And so those values, characteristics that made them to succeed, you see from generation to generation, they repeat themselves. There's a pattern you can see. There's a pattern you can see. And so when you adapt yourself to those patterns, you begin to experience the same thing that happened to them. And it is important for us to look at those patterns. And many of the things you have discussed this morning or highlighted are some of the patterns we can see in successful people. Some of those who have been successful, if you read from their books, they have written about themselves, or you interview them or you have interaction with them, one of the words they will tell you is perseverance. Perseverance. Perseverance, and one of you mentioned that here. It's very important. Perseverance is an element that really puts you on a pedestal of success. And I want each and every one of us here to make that word a friend that you live. My friend or colleague would not appreciate this word because he thinks that it is his face that matters in this issue. It is not your face. Don't personalize it. It's an issue of having perseverance. So what I will do this time is to highlight to you some of the things I have collected, I have observed, and to share it with you. That if you are going to succeed in your grant writing experience, some of these things must be part of the ingredients you adapt yourself with. Right. Okay. Some traits of career success. David Jensen has outlined some of this. And the first one he highlighted here is what he called passion. Passion. Goodness me. Passion is very important because you can't be successful in things that don't move you. You're working in the morning, in the night, and this is brought to you and you feel regret. Oh no, why is disturbing me? But that drives you. You derive joy from doing it. Passion is important. Without it, it is really difficult to succeed. So if you want to succeed in your grant writing experience, you need to have passion in what you're doing in your area of research. You need to have passion in doing that work. So that is the first one. Passion is very important. Very, very important. Yeah, persistence. And that is the character of never say never. You have failed, but you tell yourself, I will succeed. I will do it again. I will do it again. I wouldn't fall apart. Never give up. Attack the same problem over and over again from different angles. Many times you submit to the same funder because they have a standby review committee. That application next time may go to the same committee. And you can see the smile on the faces of the reviewers when they say, well, we reviewed this application last year. Wow, this guy has improved this. Can you understand? And so you get rejection. You say, well, I wouldn't give up. I will look at what the issues are. And you do it again. You do it again. You tackle it again. You look at it with a different eye and improve. It's very, very important. Focus. A missionary zeal, commitment that goes far beyond the norm. Single-minded pursuit. Okay? If you look at those who have been successful, there is a focus they have had in their job description. Job description, not beating here and there. Okay? So, commitment is very important. That just goes beyond the norm. You have to put that into your application and you see the difference it can make. Inner beliefs. Positive inner beliefs set the stage for success. Successful scientists believe in their work and they have a mental attitude that things will work out for them. Even when it looks like things are not working out, they have the inner belief that somehow it will work out. And so they continue to push on, believe that it will work out. Flexibility. Flexibility. Look at the problem from other directions. Don't stick to one thing. Look at it, be flexible and adapt. Be flexible and adapt. Okay? Many of us want to, you see, the world is changing. The world is changing in different ways. And so even in our areas of endeavor, it's good to try to adapt. That you have been used to writing on the blackboard with white chalk doesn't mean that you cannot adapt to write with the whiteboard with markers. And so, well, it doesn't mean that you can't use the presentations. So many of us want to remain on the same level and not being able to be flexible and adapt to new situations. You need to. The funder sets new standards. So why are they changing? You need to change yourself too. That's what it's telling you. Be flexible and change yourself. Adapt to the new system. That is one of the traits of success. Network. Yeah, some of you mentioned collaboration. You're not afraid to reach out. And this includes learning new things. Okay? As I was telling you, I have collaborated with both colleagues. I have taught my own teachers. My own students have taught me. And that is the beauty of this life. Because what goes around comes around. Let's network. You cannot do it alone. You cannot remain and say, well, I have passed this level. Learning is a long life process. It's a long life process. So we need to be open to it, be open to new opportunities, be open to collaborate, be open to share our ideas. After all, since we started this course, it is about making impact on the society. It's not about you. It's not about me. And so whatever requires to team up with others of like minds, we should hold on to that to make alliances and networks that will make us to achieve our ultimate. Choose the right colleagues and collaborators. Of course, not everybody can be right for your project. Some will make things sour for you. So open your eyes to make sure it is the right alliances you are forming. Critical thinking, ability to reason well, take action, combine critical analysis with forward momentum. Critical thinking. Some of us don't think deep. You know, we think very shallow. You need to think deep. You need to dig it. And one of the strategies to do this is that you get your grant application and it is refused. Okay? Personally, what I do. That also includes when I get rejection for my papers. Once it comes, I run through it quickly. And then I leave it. I give it a number of days. 3 days, 4 days. Then I come back to it and I read it over again. What happens usually is that the first understanding I had when I read it the first time will usually be different because my psychological state, my mindset is now different. And then perhaps when I read it the first time, I was critical of the reviewers. Why would they reject my paper? And then you are stimulated, you are not happy. But when you read it again, you begin, okay, all right, now I understand. I will improve. And you can see things in the right perspective. And when you see things in the right perspective, it gives you a platform to think critically. All right. Other traits, curiosity. Curiosity is very important. Curiosity has been a driver of many innovations that have happened in human space. Curiosity. To be frank with you, many of the discoveries that I've made have been made by others were based on curiosity. You need to be curious. You need to be open to failure. You need to be open to ignorance. Dr. Warren's tips and tricks, one of the two of the topics we'll be looking at is the role of ignorance, the role of failure in our scientific journey. Patience. Patience is a trait that many people don't have. Many people don't even like it. The world we are, people don't like to be patient. And if you have little kids, you can see can see how you'll be critical to them. You say, be patient, John, be patient, James, be patient, just try to be patient. But the fact is that if you turn the coin upside down and put it to yourself, you are not. So this is a problem we all have, but it's a trait we can learn. Patience is important. There is an African saying that the patient dog eats the fattest bone. Not lazy patience, it's patience that is also working. Okay? So don't be in a hurry. It did not take a day to build Rome. It took years. And so one step at a time and apply the quality of patience, then you see you'll be moving in the right direction. Courage, honestly, it relates to also the issue of failure. You need to be courageous, but you don't need to fear when you fail. Okay? See failure as a system that brings a check and balance to you and helps you to see where you can improve. So failure is a signal for improvements. And courage is that quality that takes you beyond the ordinary. So people are counting their failures, but you're so courageous that you're already seeing where it's going. Okay? Be detail oriented. Be detail oriented. Make sure what you are seeing from the funder is what you are giving them. Don't be careless with what you are asked to do or supposed to do. Be detailed. Take their prescriptions seriously. And then you see the difference that it makes. Be creative. It's also part of innovativeness. Be creative. Don't rely on the same, oh, well, this is the way they are doing it. I don't like hearing that, honestly speaking. I don't like hearing this is the way they are doing. And I have for a long time as a young person asked myself, I mean, people who did this, I don't know human beings, how did they come to this? Can't I improve on this? Can't I do it another way? You know, be creative, look for ways to refine things, you know, make things better. Think of how you can do it. There are many creative guys that, goodness me, I meet. I'm really excited to meet them. It's very, very important to be creative when you are aiming to get a grant. Communicative, yeah. Some of you mentioned it. Don't only speak to yourself. Communicate, relate to others and communicate. And then finally, you have open-minded. The glue that puts all this together is passion. Passion. If you don't discover why you do what you do and why you need to do it, honestly, you can't go far. If you don't discover why you do what you do, you can't go far. So please be passionate of what you do. And I tell you that the difference will be made. All right. I think we can take a 10-minute break as usual and come back and then go through a demonstration of what some people have, how people have applied some of these tools in their own process of discovery and success. All right, so 10 minutes and then let's come back at 15 past the hour we are now. All right, welcome everyone from the short break. we have to look at this now. This is one of really inspiring adventure in recent times. You may not really like it because perhaps it's one of the things you don't like doing, but I will use it. It applies to different aspects of what we do, and particularly as we are scientists, to really recapitulate all we have mentioned this morning as key traits of success. And this is called the power of atomic habits. There's a book by this name. You can find it, and when I read it, it was quite inspiring, this story. So usually I use it to highlight what we have been working through this week with regards to grant application. All right. This is a story of the British cycling industry. It's a story of success. It's a story of revolution. It's a story of success. It's a story of revolution. Even though it applies to an institution, it's a story you can adapt at a personal level as well, as a scientist, as a researcher, and in everything we do, because that is really what life entails. Atomic habits. Okay. 2003 was what we call the D year, and the hero was David Brailsford, the man you see surrounded by different things around bikes. What was the story? The British cycling industry has really sailed over 100 years in mediocrity. That is what we know. That between 1908 until this time, they have only won one gold medal in Olympic Games. So they were comfortably in mediocrity. That success was not something they should be proud of. It got to the point that top Europe bike producers refused to sell their bikes to the British team for the reason of the failure that has surrounded their journey in bicycling. All right, so that was their story, 100 years of mediocrity and failure. But a change came when Dave Brailsford was recruited. And when this guy was recruited, he brought something that did not make sense to many people. How was he going to put this story behind him and create a future that people can admire? Generations to come will make reference to, and the nation can be proud of. That was his intention. But how was he going to do this? And this wasn't easy. But this guy was a genius, I would say. He brought the concept of atomic habit. And his goal is that When you make improvements in the small and basic things, cumulatively, they may result to big improvement. And he carved the terminology aggregation of marginal gains, searching for a tiny margin of improvement in everything you do. Break down everything you do to smaller pieces and start improving each by 1%. Okay? My methods before used to be described in this way, but this year I'm going to improve my method. I'm going to improve my aims. I'm going to improve my impact. Marginal gains, improve them, put them together, and you have a significant increase. That is a mindset that wins. And the journey started. Mind you, these were the same guys who have been there years. But something started happening. The same guys, the same industry, but something started happening that made that difference. All right. What are the small improvements? There were hundreds of them that Dave brought into the system. And let's go through some of them. There were hundreds, but some of them. He redesigned the bicycle seat for more comfort. Okay. People may think, well, what does that mean? The bicycle seats were made more comfortable. Perhaps you think, well, it wouldn't make much a difference. But not only that, he used alcohol on tires for better grip. If you are a bike person, you will know that you will always want better grip. We are in this part of the world where we have the snow, and sometimes it can be slippery. Sometimes it can just be a summer day and the hail will fall and things change. Personally, I had a bike accident in December last year because I thought I would go through. That day was really nice, but you know, I lost it and my bicycle was not gripping as it should. And I fell. Oh, goodness me, it's a long time I had that kind of fall. It's not funny. But Dave looked at what was going on. He said, no, these guys don't have a good grip. And alcohol can give you that grip, and use alcohol to put in the tire system to improve the grip. Electrically heat shots to maintain ideal temperature. Shot you're talking about is the shot they wear, you know, for biking. They use electrical system to heat it, to maintain ideal temperature. I tested various fabrics, their wears, their shirts, their sporting. They tested several and see which one provides more comfort and will give them better acceleration when they move. They switch outdoor riders to indoor suits to have lighter and more aerodynamic in their wears. They tested different massage gels, which gave fastest recovery of the muscle. Okay, there are different gels there, and they tested several to have the best muscle recovery. They hired a medical doctor to teach the riders best ways to wash their hands to reduce cold. You can understand that, all right? Even a little child, you're teaching, say, I know how to do, I know, Daddy, I know. But this kind paid the medical doctor huge amount of money just to teach these adults how to wash their hands. They chose right pillow and mattresses for best sleep. You can imagine that some of the things you use at home there. How many of us in here? We are now 87 of us here. Maybe some others are enjoying their break. But if you know them, just give them a test that they should come here and join us. But if you take a distribution of the types of mattresses we are using in this class, oh goodness me, you discover that some of the ones we are using are making us to perform lesser than what we're supposed to be doing. Trust me. They've understood this and they went to the shop with experts in this area. We need to have the best. And the wives should be instructed, please make sure that he doesn't change it to the old one he has been using so that he can have best sleep. They painted inside the team truck white so that any dust can be spotted. Any dust can be spotted. Because accumulation of dust may reduce performance. They bring cold, they bring different things. And so to paint it white so that any dust can be found out. So many others occurred. I'll just give you a brief of some of those things that happened, but hundreds of small details were made. And what happened? What happened? You can see. The result came faster than thought. In 5 years, remember, between 1908 and 2008, the British cycling industry or cycling team had only won one gold medal in the Olympics. From 2003 on the 2008, when this process started, they won 60% of gold medals from Olympics. In Beijing, they won the most of the gold medals that were there. They knocked out everybody out of the process. Four years after that, in the Olympics in London, which was their own backyard, they set 9 Olympic records and 7 world records. Can you imagine? Can you imagine what is going on here? And then 5 Tour de France victories in 6 years they won. Something they have not won for ages. They won 5 of those in 6 years. As a group and also as individuals. So between 2007, as they moved on, and 2017, they won 178 world champions, 6 Olympic gold medals, 5 Tour de France victories during that period. 9 years, they started this journey. Why? Atopic habit. Today, this is known as the most successful run in cycling history. All right, why am I telling you all this? Perhaps you can have reactions. Why am I telling you all this? Why I'm telling you this is for 4 days now, we have been going through grant writing. And I started by telling you it is a competition that one of the participants last year, after he has seen all this, he said, Prof, this is a warfare. And truth be told, it's a warfare. Are you prepared for it? Are you ready to make the changes that are required? The improvement that will take you to the next level. It's not sufficient just to listen to the stories I give here and oh, this is really nice. The question is, what do you take home from here? You go back to your drawer, you bring out those files. 10 grant applications, none of them had happened before, have won anything for you. Then you put them in place and said, well, what I have got this week, I am ready to scale. It's an example of what we have discussed. Perseverance, innovativeness, creativeness, curiosity, try and error. Those are the things that put you. It doesn't matter what you know upstairs. It is having the characteristics that will put you on the pedestal. The same team, different coach, different attitude made the difference. What is going to make a difference in your own career as a scientist hoping to win grants starting from now? Any reaction from you? I think this is what I have to consolidate what we have been looking through this morning. Yeah, please, if there is anything you want to say, do that while I prepare to send you out to your breakout sessions. Anything? It looks like you're sober. Have I knocked you out? Oh, goodness me. Anyway, think about it. Just to let you know that you're not alone. There are people who have tested different things and success came. And you can change your story. Trust me, you can change your story. Many people have done it, changed their story forever. All right, I have Panteleon.
Thank you very much, Prof, for your presentation, especially the atomic habits. To me, it simply tells that keep focused, get determined, and have confidence to improve. And that's the essence of being a scientist. This is what you can say. Thank you very much.
All right, I have Ola Lekon.
Thank you, Prof. It's a very nice one. I think you just emphasize this attitude, habitual attitude, and perseverance, and being persistent, which I think we all need most, and if not all myself, and don't just look down after one defeat. We need to go on and create more innovative. What we have learned the last 3 or 4 days, I think it gears towards that direction. I want to say I appreciate you and I say thank you so much. Looking forward to put everything into use. Thank you very much, sir.
All right. Okay, so I will send you now to your breakout rooms. Please, if you have not put your name, your group number to your names, please do so now so that it's easier for me to do that. All right. Group leaders, please remember to take the attendance as well. And I would like to have the attendance back at the end of today, please, group leaders. At the end of today, I get it back. Okay, welcome back, everyone. I hope you are able to make some progress with your group work. Yeah, by the time we're ending today, you will still have some time to work on that more. And then tomorrow, tomorrow the goal is that you will also have more time in the morning to do this, and then we can finalize and present. Okay, so at least you will have around 2 hours tomorrow morning to work on that. We'll come back to that later today. All right, so my goal now is to finish the part this morning we set out to do, and we'll go on our lunch break. After that, we work on the afternoon session. All right. Yeah, honestly, want to deal with common pitfalls. This is one of the things I promised to present in the morning. The first thing was the trait of success, and we have gone through that. Common pitfalls of the grant application, because you are going through this, sometimes you are not very observant, or you do not have the wherewithal to observe the things that need to be removed from your grant or improve, and then that will be your right. Okay, sorry, I'm just admitting people who are coming. All right, so in the grant application, these are the things, the questions that we aim to address. What you are going to do, okay? What you're going to do. And that concerns your research question. What problem is your grant going to solve? Why is it important? So you need to argue for these things. What is the scientific foundation for doing what you propose to do? Okay. So I've mentioned this is a competition, and it is a survival of the fittest. So please ensure that you are working to be on top. You're working to be on top. You can't approach this from a mediocre perspective. And I've given you hints. You start on time. Ensure that you know what the funder needs. Also investigate who the reviewers are. That could give you a clue. What have they done before? What is their approach to science? and then design your application to win. Okay, how are you going to do it? That is your method. How are you going to address that question? I've gone through the methods part. Have you addressed your method clearly so that anybody who is reading it can see you providing answers to the questions adequately? What will it cost? That is the budget. It shouldn't be underestimated. It shouldn't be overestimated. It should be rightly estimated. Why will it cost this much? That is the budget justification. It's not sufficient that you have provided to funders what your project is going to cost. They want to also see that you justify your costs convincingly. Why are you the best person to do it? So what is your track record? Why would they trust to give you that money? What have you done before? Who are your collaborators? What are your expertise? Goodness, you have to be able to provide answers to this. The goal is to address these questions adequately and convincingly. Failure to do so will limit your success, and this requires an eye to detail. So start on time. Remember, as I've said, you are asking for money that does not belong to you. And for you and everyone of us sitting there, getting money from our pocket to give to somebody free to do something they are passionate about doesn't easily come by. So when you're asking it from people, then ask them in a way that they are convinced that you have the solution and that you are the right person to deal with this issue. All right. So some of the common pitfalls that may be associated with this different aspect of the grant application. Problems with significance and aims. This is based on the Gatlin's book. Your project is not significant, it's not novel, it's not exciting, or it's not new. The reviewers will look at this. Oh, what is novel about this? What can we learn from this? Is it just recycling of ideas of what people have done before? If it's recycling of ideas, is that they can't give you money for that, trust me. So you need to be able to propose something that has some significance and will be able to add knowledge to the field or affect the society in a positive way. So if your rationale is not compelling enough, then be sure that it is very, very, very high likely that you will not get the grant. To incremental or low impact research, the same thing. You have to dream big, and try to do something that is, to an extent, extraordinary. Okay. So if you don't have enough description of the strength and weaknesses of prior research, and I highlighted that when you are proposing your background and significance, you have to indicate what has been done, what is the gap, what we know, what we don't know. You need to convincingly provide that. Problems with specific aims or objectives is too ambitious, too much work proposed. You need to make it adequate. Check the money they are giving you because it all tallies to that. The money they are giving you is very important for you to ensure that it is adequate to address the question. Don't promise too much. Don't promise too much more than the money can cater. Then you don't give them confidence. They think that it is impossible, really. Unfocused, conflicting, inconsistent, or unclear goals and aims will pose a problem. Limited aims on uncertain future direction. And I've told you, not just answering a question and that is it. Grant funders will want to know what next after this. What next after this? Your application needs to address. Read that. Aims are too independent or interdependent so that one aim depends on the success of the other. Yeah, it should always be the case that they are related to form a program, but if doing one means doing the other, so they are two interrelated, then you don't formulate them as separate aims. Okay, so please ensure that you have clearly walked through these issues. All right, problems with the method section. Too much unnecessary experimental details. So yeah, when I say attention to detail, it doesn't mean that you take the space and become too detailed. Okay, there should be a room where certain things become too detailed, and you have to know that not all the reviewers are experts in your field. So when you become too detailed and technical of the minute things, then it scares people away. So find a limit where you can describe the concept. And the other extreme is not enough detail. Okay, not enough preliminary data to establish feasibility that this is workable. Feasibility of each aim not shown, little or no expertise with the approach. That is why you need to collaborate and get people across board to join your team so that you'll be able to bring the various experts in the field to support your implementation of your project. You require multidisciplinary approach where that is the case. Okay, and so other things. So the key thing is that you need to describe your methods adequately and highlight the risk of implementation, where you have challenges, the strength, and as well as the weaknesses or pitfalls in those issues you are presenting. Okay, common pitfalls related to the investigator, environment, and the budget. You have not demonstrated expertise or publications in the approaches you have described. So you need to convince the funders that your team has the expertise. And you can do this through prior publications in the field. Low productivity, few recent papers. You know, they have to think about that. You may not really understand how this will think. And one of the first things they would see, money is very, very important. So if they look at what you have done, what are you doing? In the last 5 years, what is your productivity level? Publications, supervision of theses, projects you have been involved in, other grants you have won. These are very, very important. No collaborators recruited. Little demonstration of institutional support. And that is why I continue to highlight it. You need to fight your way to the institutions. Many times the leaders of many institutions don't know the essence of these things. So you need to find a way to try to convince them of the essence of giving support to scientists to be able to do their work and get the funding support they need to do their work. Little or no startup package or necessary resources or equipment from the institution. I've said it's very good that the institutions give seed money to researchers, and this can go a very long way to help them and support their work. It's very important. If you are over or under budgeting, I've mentioned that lack of adequate budget justification. The budget certification is very important, and so please don't take it for granted. All right, any questions so far? Please. These are some of the pitfalls you have to avoid. Any question? Okay, I have to tell you.
Okay, sir. Thank you for your presentation. Am I?
I hear
You
you.
did say that we should try and know the reviewers. And I was wondering how easy it is to know the reviewers, because at times those reviews are done blindly. So how easy is it to know the reviewers?
Yeah, if the reviewers are done blindly, then you can check if the fund has committees responsible for different areas. You can check the members of those committees. Sometimes it is the members of those committees that review, or they will invite the reviewers to review. So if they don't have the reviewers, check the members of the committee if they have. If they don't have the members of committees, of course, you can't do much. You have to do your best to ensure that you do the right things. We have discussed in this course. All right, I have Olalekan.
Thank you, my prof. I just want to add to that reviewer stuff. I just want to add to that reviewer.
Go ahead.
So sometimes there's a committee for the review. But one thing that I've used in the past is that I look at the specialization of those committees and relate them to what I am working on. And I can use that as a prejudge to know who the reviewers are. Then another thing that I've noticed is that most of the times the funders, are usually in the line of what they are giving grants to. I don't think that I'm correct, sir.
Yeah, of course. That is why we say you should know the funders.
So the funders are usually giving funds into what they do. So that will give us an insight on what to write and what to give to them. So that when you are writing and when you are trying to convince them, you are working on the principle of their own background knowledge, with your own knowledge, and using the societal view of what you are saying. Like, are you carrying them along that perspective? I think that will also help when one is trying to write his research proposals, so that it serves more or less when you are writing your proposal, your PhD. So that's my contribution, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other thing? All right. If not, let's give group 7 opportunity to present their Margaret, group 7, please. Who is presenting? Just raise your hand, then I'll recognize you. I have 2 hands for group 7. I have Nuha and I have Konu, who is presenting. Who is presenting, please? Nuha or Kono, you should unmute yourself.
Yeah, Prof. Is Nuha who will present? I just project the presentation. Thank you.
Nuha, can you raise your hand so that I can unmute you? Okay. Nuha, you can unmute yourself now. Speak. Kono, can you make it presentation mode? Yeah, please. So we hear you, Nuha.
Yes, hello.
We hear you, Nuha. Go ahead.
Okay, this is Nuha. I'm presenting our nuggets on behalf of Group 7. It's about grant application rejected over choice of font. Yeah, next please. Yes, next please, Kono.
Kono, can you go to the next slide, please? If it's not moving there, remove it from presentation mode. So maybe your system has a problem. So you can just click it. You can just escape it from presentation mode. Kono, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I have an issue. I can move it again.
You can move it again.
Yeah.
Can you stop sharing then?
Okay.
Yeah, maybe you try to share again and don't put it on presentation mode. Yeah, you can go on this mode.
Okay, this is an article read by Daniel Daisy about how funders they can reject your application, your grant application according to the font size if you don't follow their font size. So funders put guidelines for font type and size for grant writers. For example, in UK, the funders take tough topographic guidelines on rejection, which is comprised to 4% of the rejected application. For this reason, in October 2015, Susanna Midment, she's an famous I don't know what that name at Imperial College London she had her fellowship application thrown away because of font size. Can you please move the slides? Yeah. So this is a comparison between two funders agent between UK and US. In UK, the Natural Environment Research Council, they have a specification for font size, which is they accept Arial 11 or sans serif or equivalent Arial 11. While UK, they accept different things. They accept 10-point Arial, Courier New, or Palatino linotypes, or they accept 11-point or larger time New Roman. Other than that, your application will be thrown away, like Susanna. Next slide, please. So in conclusion, there are several reasons why grant application can be rejected. One of them is the font size and font type. So in general, grant writers should pay attention to details of requirement specified by the funders regarding the font type and size. Yes, next please. Yeah, this is our reference, or this is the article we have read and we extracted all this information from it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Group 7. Okay, so you can see what is happening here. The font size led to rejection, which means that that grant application was not reviewed actually. Check for font size, check for in-house requirement is done at the administrative level. And after that is done, it is now assigned to the committees. So what Susanna is describing, that her application did not get to the committee level actually. The secretaries at the grant office put her grant out, regardless of how mighty, novel, innovative her questions or application is. And so if the grant application takes 3 months to go through, 4 months to go through, 5 months to go through, 5 months you're waiting, but you're waiting in vain because you have not followed the requirement, so your grant is knocked out. That can be disheartening. But having gone through this course now, you can know that things you may overlook. Sometimes I have seen people who mistakenly or carelessly even use more than one font type, one font size to write the application. Please read the grant funders requirement and make sure you adhere to their requirement. Sometimes they give you margins, 2 cm margin. They give you a page, number of pages you need to have your application. Please stick to this, otherwise you undergo the risk of being rejected and your application will not even be reviewed. All right, Anna.
Thank you, Chief. My question is, if your grant has been rejected due to that reason of font size or whatever, is there a room for correcting it and reapply again?
Next year, Anna, not this year.
Okay.
Next year. So you have lost a window, lost it.
Okay.
Lost a window until next year.
Thank you.
Any other thing? Anyone? Okay, so we have a perfect timing now. So we will come back in an hour's time to continue our discussion. So please have a good lunch. Don't eat too much. It's holiday, so that we can still be alert to finish today. So see you in 1 hour. Okay, welcome back, everyone. Let's move on. Group 8 to give us the nuggets. Group 8 ready? Please, who is presenting, raise your hand and I will recognize you. All right, Archie. Please unmute yourself and go ahead.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay, I'm presenting on behalf of Group 8. Our nugget is written by an 18-year-old undergraduate student by the name Ethan Wilk. According to him, he was able to secure a grant from Harvard College because of the budget plan that he wrote. So he wrote a an article, The Power of a Budget Plan in Grant Writing, to outline some of the key factors that can help you get a good budget plan. He explained how a detailed outline, proposed expenses, and timeline help to win a competitive award. In his article, he defined a budget plan as a contest of grant application. It's a budget plan. A budget plan is an outline of proposal expected financial outlay over a period of time. He also outlined the purpose of a budget plan. That is, a budget plan allows our founders to know exactly how the money given will be spent by the researcher at any given point. It also helps to form an image of the project timeline and establish the level of discipline and organization of the research. So the content of the budget plan that he outlined, like the format of a budget plan vary by founder and the type of projects that an individual has. But a standard outline, a standard budget is has two types, that is direct and indirect costs. And a direct cost are expenditures that directly contribute to the research and the development of the project. And an example of that direct cost is salaries paid to like postdoctorate researchers or research assistants, something like that. An indirect cost, those that cannot be traced directly to the progress in research and development, but nonetheless required to operate a project. Like, for example, the salaries paid to administrative staff or CEOs, exactly. He also made mention of simple breaking down of costs. He said that it helps to keep track of factors that might affect the project, which the researcher might not otherwise have noted before. So breaking down the budget plan into simple costs also help to keep track of uncertainties that might happen along the line. Also, budget justification. He mentioned that it is another crucial element of the budget plan, and most founders will require some form of budget justification when they are reading your budget plan. Yes. Okay, so it indicates how and why a proposed cost helps to meet the project aim. For example, if someone wants to buy maybe an A4 size paper for the project, you have to justify how the A4 paper will help you meet your aim. It will help one to see your project timeline and logistics more clearly. It helps also the project strengths and limitations more clearly. Thank you. That's all what we have drawn from the nuggets.
All right. As group 8 nuggets, the power of a budget plan. And the budget plan, as we have emphasized, includes both the cost estimates and the justification for the costs you have outlined to be associated with your project. Please don't take any of this for granted. Some people may have very clear project, has an impact, but their budget knocked them out because it wasn't clear what they want to use the money for. So please ensure that you have articulated your budget processes in the way they should be. And then, of course, justify the cost estimate you have provided. All right, Aji, if you can stop sharing. Thank you. Any questions, any thoughts? I know that there's a question going on ASFI data analysis course. I know many of you have shown interest in that. We will surely do it, but we can't give you a timeline. And perhaps it may not be within the window of the free courses we offer, because for this year, we already have our timetable filled. So, but we will be in touch and let you know how it comes through. And if you need to pay some fee to attend that, we'll let you know. But it's a course I think many people are eager to have as part of the portfolio courses we have. That we have it in view. So we'll come back to you. All right. The method section, I showed you how you can make it clear by addressing your methods according to the aims or objectives of the study. So each method is described with respect to the aims the method is being used to address. And the framework there we discussed last Friday. Please take a look and do justice to your methods part. I think that framework will be very helpful. All right. Now let me share with you the evaluation form. I put it on the chat box. This far we have come through, and we just have just a session or so to go through, and then we'll be done with the course. You have gained your experience. You have seen what we have with regards to the grant writing course. And our goal is to continue to improve what we do. And so the perspective of the participants is very important. So please, I have put the evaluation form on the chat box. Please find time to complete it. It's always good to do it when you are within the course or just as soon as you finish, so that we can collect them. So use the evaluation form and complete that for us, and we'll be happy for that. And I also mentioned the video evaluations, which have also been very useful in addition to what you articulate in the evaluation form. Please, we will come back to you once I get the feedback from the group coordinators at the end of today on the attendance list sheet. We will be able to organize those who like to invite to provide feedback on a 3-minute video shout out to what we have gone through this week, 5 days, of course. All right, so we'll come back to that. The form, I just put the link on the chat box, is anonymous, meaning that we don't collect your name. So please be as critical as possible. If there are things you don't like, state them. If there are things you like, of course, we appreciate to have them. And if there are things you think we can improve as a group, please indicate that. And if there are other things you think you can add to the ASFI programs, you can write me email, you can write Eman email, you can write Temida your email, and we'll be happy to take them on board. So help us to help you. That is the message. All right. All right, let's go to clarity. Clarity is important, and that is what we will be talking about this afternoon. The morning we talked about traits of success and common pitfalls. Now we want to talk about clarity. So what is at stake is money. And I don't think I should emphasize that too much. Money is at stake. And of course, sound science, not just science that we bring development to the society, that we increase our knowledge in the specific areas we are doing what we are doing. And so it means that what we are doing needs to be taken into account with this perspective. And so none of this is a mean feat. Whether you talk about money, you talk about science, none of them is a mean feat. So success requires due diligence. Most often, all reviewers and funders have issue application, no interviews to clarify anything. Most often, that is the case. All they have is your application. And so my friend who continues to say, well, Bright, these people don't like my face. They don't have much of that. In most cases, they wouldn't even invite you to interviews so that you can say, well, in this place, this is what I meant, this is what I'm going to do. Most often, you don't have that opportunity. So you have to write to be understood. You have to write clearly. You have to mean what you're writing, and you have to write what you mean. Don't make things ambiguous because it's going to haunt you. So please remove every imprecise language. It's not a place to showcase. And one thing is that in my experience, the more you grow in science and as a researcher, the more simplistic your language becomes. Trust me. You go to the top journals, New England Journal of Medicine, Lancet, British Medical Journal, Journal of American Medical Association, and those top journals. You can see that the topper or the higher you go, the simplicity associated with scientific output in those journals. And the ultimate factor is communication to be understood. So simplicity and precision. It's not a time to be fancy. It's not a time to experiment with language and use of words and composition. Please bring it down. That is not what you have to achieve here. I was, when I was attending my high school in my country many years back, and my English teacher will always emphasize simplicity. Young people want to use big grammar and big language. And she told a story that I have always had in my mind when I read certain things. She said, in a school at that time, there were very few professors around. When the British brought education and they started training people, very few professors around. And those you will find, because they went to school late, the professors are usually gray-haired. Nowadays, many professors, you don't see any trace of gray hair. on their head. And so many of the professors take turns to visit some schools because people are eager to see the professors and to celebrate professorship because it's not easy to get there. And so what happens was that this principal announced that this time we are bringing this professor to our school. The students were very jubilant. And so the D-Day came and the professor came, an aged one indeed. He is a symbol of professorship. And I tell you, such kind of situation, when they make a hit, you see everywhere is quiet because a professor is standing in front of you. How dare you make noise? And the children paid attention to get to what this guy is trying to say. And he went on to say, my dear children, I am happy to be with you on this occasion. I am very excited that you have given me this opportunity to speak to you. And so on. He started talking. And not long he started, the children started grumbling. And the professor was confused. What is it? They asked the principal and the staff. And they told the professor, the children are saying that they already know the grammar you're speaking. They were expecting you to speak the professor's grammar. And the professor said, oh no, okay. And the professor went on a rampage of grammatical construction and development he put there. And the children went on praising him and clapping. But the question is, none of them understood what he was saying. So my English teacher was saying, you don't go to communicate to confuse. You don't go to communicate to make it ambiguous. You go to communicate to make it simple. And I've used this example in my country, Nigeria. There used to be a lawmaker in the parliament who used to speak grammar. This kind speaks dictionary. And when he's speaking, everywhere people are bursting into laughter. Some people laugh until they shed tears. But this guy is making contribution to discussion. He ends up confusing people from what they knew. And if you ask any of them, what did this honorable member say? They will tell you, go and ask him, because we don't understand. So if you want to fail, then write complicated things. If you want to scale through, write simply. So please, it's not a time to be fancy or experimental with language use and composition. It requires a scientific, technical approach to writing. Simplicity, clarity is the key word. Details of project are clearly described. If you can use as simple language as possible, please go on. You want to write to be understood. That is the most important thing. No cluttering of the narrative with non-essential material or extraneous words. Decide which details are the most important to include. Don't include everything, even those that are not important. Cut out extraneous phrases and words. You have to make life easy for the reviewers. Please make life easy for them. If you make life easy for them, they make life easy for you. Brevity, clarity, and organization are keys to good writing of grants. Don't be like the professor. Don't be like my country's lawmaker. Be just a simple scientist who wants to be understood. And when you're understood, it takes you to a higher ground because then people know what you are trying to do. Clarity, strategies. Set aside a block of uninterrupted time. Outline the major sections of the proposal. Write an initial draft without worrying about grammar or style. Plan to write more than one draft. Critically evaluate your draft. Ask a colleague or consultant to critically evaluate the next to last draft, or consider having the external reviewers provide feedback. You can read to your child who is knowledgeable to understand grammar. You can read to your wife, you can read to your husband, you can read to those around you. So you can read to people who are not even in your field to ask them, do you understand what I'm trying to do? The key thing here is clarity. The key thing here is clarity. So please do justice to yourself in this. It's very important. Planning is important. Invest the necessary time that is required to plan. All right. Some rules: stay away from jargon. Avoid words that are trendy. Okay. Do not try to cut corners by using abbreviations such as etc. or so forth, and keep abbreviations of major concepts to a minimum. Avoid overly broad phrases. Do not try to sound intellectual by using big words. That is what I was saying. Avoid redundant phrases. Keep overused phrases to a minimum. Watch for unclear references. My friends, define core constructs, variables, and relevant terms, and use consistent wording throughout the proposal. You know, sometimes I was reading a paper, and I am very attentive that I can detect different voices. So if you have written your paper and somebody has written another section, honestly, it's very easy for me to detect the different voices once they are not consistent with each other. So please make sure you use consistent language throughout the grant writing process. Okay. Inefficient is an example versus efficient phrasing or wording. Okay. Do not use, for instance, an excessive amount of at a high level of productivity at a rapid rate due to the fact that has a capability of, in view of the fact that serves the function of being. You can use this one. You see, this has been reduced. An excessive amount of can be too much. At a high level of productivity, highly productive, at a rapid rate, rapidly, due to the fact that because has a capability of can, in view of the fact that because serves a function of being is. You can see the amount of words that have been cut off. The amount of words that have been cut off. So many times you write it and you think, oh, I've done a good job, but you have put lots of things that even begin to bore and confuse people. So this is a place where you need to bring the artistic aspect of you as a scientist to send home your message. Writer's block. Okay. what is your experience? And you know what this means? A time comes in your writing journey where you don't know what to do. You can't see yourself progressing. You are just static and you don't know what is happening to you. Usually, what do you do? What is your experience in this? Have you experienced this and what do you do? Please let me hear from you. Let's discuss this. Please show me your hand and I will recognize you. Writer's block. Anyone helping us out? Anyone who wants to share his experience? Okay, I have Izuchukwu Frank Obi. Yes, please unmute and speak.
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity to contribute. Sometimes, like the last the exam I prepared for last that has a dissertation component, you know, you get to write to a point that at a time it appears as if your head is just blocked. You don't know what else to write. You're just, every time one picks the work, no idea seems to be coming. Like one has reached saturation point. So what I do at such time is I just leave it and just get to do another thing. Maybe just give it 5 days, 2 days, just remove my mind and my eyes from it. Refresh, do other things. So most times when one now comes back again to write, you find ideas begin to come and you begin to see things in fresh perspective again and what you're able to make progress. So that's my thoughts about it. Thank you.
Thank you. So you take a break, you just leave it out and then you come back to it later on. That is a very, very important strategy. I am the kind of person that I like nature. So I go to the forest and I leave it and do other things really. Take the kids to the park, do other things, forget about this. And then you see that after some time, you would usually come with fresh ideas. Okay, I have Oscar. I have Itoro. Itoro, you have to indicate raise your hand on your window, then I can see you because we have so many people here that when you raise it on the chat box, I don't really see where you are. So raise it on your window, then I will see it. Okay, Oscar.
Yes, Doc, thank you very much. I have a similar issue that my brother raised when I am actually reviewing literature, especially to identify the strengths. When all ideas have gone up, what I do is to contact senior researchers, especially those in academic institutions, just to have few words with them, for them to actually guide me in what I'm supposed to do verbally. So this is what I normally use to be able to come back to myself and review more on the data I'm reviewing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Oscar. Yeah, you consult with senior colleagues to help you to skate through this. So you need to have a strategy. All right, Itoro, please, you can unmute yourself now. I think I found you somewhere there.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, I was trying to do that. Thank you for the presentation. For me, usually what I do, apart from just leaving the work, like a colleague earlier mentioned, I just get into a discussion with someone who is either in the same field with me. We just get talking, and in the course of the discussion, sometimes I get fresh ideas, and when I get back to it, I'm like, whoa, I didn't see this coming. So that helps too.
All right, thanks very much. Any other insights? Another insight? You go and eat, go to McDonald's or Big Boss. What do? You go and do your hobby, get some inspiration somewhere, writer's blog. Yeah, please share your ideas. We'll have time. Or nobody apart from this, who has faced it before, or you don't understand what it is? Okay, I have one hand, Ifani.
All right, Doc. When this happens, especially in research writing, what I do is I just I leave it, and then I could just after some time I move around, and after some time, I just I read within that area I went into write. I try to read again, and then I see there are new ideas coming up, and then I could now be able to fix that challenge. That's what I do.
Yeah, reading. Yeah, reading can be very helpful. Yeah, perhaps it's also more helpful if you can read other things than what you are doing at that time. Because when you have the block, your head is full. One of my PhD students, he came to me last year, and usually I tell him to take it easy. So he will work Monday to Monday, really. Weekends he goes to the office, and I'm asking him, why don't you rest? So when he's there, he's lonely at home there. So sooner or later now you find problems with it because your body is not organized in that way. And yeah, it happened. One day he came to me and said, Bright, oh goodness me, I can't do anything. I said, well, I told you before. So just close your computer and take 1 week break, travel around, forget everything about research. And after 1 week, you come back. And after 1 week, he came back and he was very thankful. Right? This was really helpful for me. I am refreshed. So that could be a strategy as well. Okay, I have Eunice.
Yes, Prof. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I experienced that, and what I did is that I switched off my computer. I usually play a lot with my children, so I went to them, we played music and we danced the whole evening, and then I had my bath. I went to bed in the morning around 4 a.m. I got up, took a cup of Lipton tea, and then everything was clear to me.
Eunice has lots of activities. You enjoy, you shake your body, you bath and you sleep.
Yeah.
Oh wow, then you get refreshed. That's really nice.
Yeah.
All right, I have Weto.
Okay, thank you, sir. What I do most of the time is that, because that has happened to me many times, not even once or twice. So what I do is send the thing to 2 or 3 of my colleagues to look through it, and I'll shut the laptop, then go about. I can go to my farm and do some work, but I keep thinking about it. Sometimes I sleep over it. Then in the middle of the night, sometimes I get what to do, and I jot it down. I always have a jotter by my side and a pencil. So when anything comes, I jot it down. Then I gather what those or some of those my colleagues put. Then I'll start writing it back again. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you very much. And Leah is saying here on the chat box, she goes somewhere and she prays. That is a good strategy. But here she's highlighting something that is important. Have you ever faced such kind of problem when you are the one people rely on you only? Leah, there is no superhuman being in research. Let people know that you are weak. Let people know you can break down. Let people know that you can fail and it's part of the system. But when you want to do everything for no, you can't do it. And my own system is really to develop people so that they can take over. There are many things I would like to do each day I wake up, but I don't have much of the time. So I develop my group members and push responsibilities to them. So everybody has their own area. So you can't allow people to see you as the only one. You will get hit down here. And I think once they know that Leah has the weaknesses and the time they need to consult you, then life becomes easier for you. Otherwise, you will pray for a long time and the problem will continue to come. All right, I have Segakia. Please go ahead.
Thank you. For me, when I get to that level, there is a culture group in my neighborhood. So they continuously train. I go join them in the culture training and they sing and dance. By the following day, I'm really fresh. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Any last person? We also have senior people here in this group, and I know you have faced these things much more. Is there any idea you would like to share with us? What are some systems you operate with? Okay, if not, let's move on. So writer's block is one thing that is a very, very common. Some people say they will play football. Yeah. So please find a conducive environment to refresh yourself and move on again. So what is the take-home message? Will the reviewers, will the funders understand what you have written? What is the message that they will take away from what you have written? Have you emphasized the correct points? So please, understanding is important and making it clear is essential for that understanding to be imbibed. All right, this is all I have this afternoon, and you will spend the whole of the rest of the day fine-tuning, finalizing, and tomorrow morning you have 2 hours. You will put everything together. This is the last time I am teaching, okay? And so tomorrow you will be the one taking us through what you have been doing at the beginning of this week. So this is what I plan that we have tomorrow. We'll meet as normal, and then we will send you out for 2 hours, and we come back at 9:30 GMT and progress things to the presentation. So each group has 10 minutes to present what they have written. And after the presentation, please send the presentation slides as well as the full grant application to me. Okay, so the group coordinators should ensure that happens. Send the presentation you have made, as well as the full grant application to me after the presentations tomorrow. All right, so this is what we are going to do tomorrow. All right, any question before group 9 will give us their nuggets? Group 10, prepare. Tomorrow morning, as we start, you're going to give us your nuggets tomorrow. If no question, group 9, I invite you to present your nugget. I have Isaac Naughty. Yeah, please. The floor is yours.
Hello, can you hear me, please?
We hear you clearly, Isaac.
Okay. So let me put my presentation in mode. Okay, so I'm in the person of Isaac Naughty. I will be presenting on behalf of Group 9. The title of our paper is Help Funders Help You, 5 Steps for Writing Effective Funding Applications. The paper was written by 4 authors, Louise, Somerville, Van Bevel, and Cunningham. The authors set out to demystify how to get funding for grant proposals. In our lives as researchers, we have one way or the other needed to persuade a committee. For example, our justification to be included in this training program, we were asked to justify why we should be included. The authors likened seeking funding to a similar endeavor where you pitch to persuade a committee that you are the right person with the right idea at the right place at the right moment to execute a project. How do you do this exactly? 5 steps are presented to guide our quest in seeking funding for our project, and that is what we are going to tackle in this presentation. Key 1 is giving us having a clear idea of the project and an explanation of its importance. The first point is to make sure that the big idea we have can be communicated to others. As researchers, sometimes the ideas we have are embedded in our heads, and communicating such ideas to others become a challenge. The paper advocates for the need to be clear and concise about the big idea, and further to be able to communicate our idea in the simplest of form to everyone, be it an expert or a non-expert in the field, as some of the reviewers of the grant may not necessarily be experts in our research areas. As we learned in our lessons past, our title should also be free of ambiguity to stand out and make a lasting impression. The title creates the first impression, and once the reviewer, the title is able to seduce the attention of the reviewer, you will be able to get the full complement of their attention. It is essential to have a title that creates a lasting impression. The paper goes on to assert the need to have research goals which have measurable objectives. It is our duty to demonstrate that our research goals and objectives are measurable and that we have completely thought through the entirety of the research. The research in all should be communicated in the sense that it adds to scientific knowledge and bridges significant gaps. We ought to explain why our idea in particular is worth the investment of the funders. We should be able to explain our idea and why our idea is worthy of the investment to anyone. This we can achieve through pointing out the intellectual merits and broader impact of the research to the local, national, and international agenda. The second point is to explain the idea in a clear and concise manner. As scientists, we are sometimes caught up in our web and tend to apply jargons and terminologies which are familiar to just us and our peers. But as pointed out earlier, the reviewer may not necessarily be an expert in the field. Therefore, there is the need to keep our writing in layman terms to be understood to any reviewer who may be working on our proposal. This can be achieved by seeking the opinion of a friend or colleague
who may not necessarily be in the field to check if all the concepts and central points of the proposals are well articulated. The scientists should endeavor to distinguish their works by stating the uniqueness of their work and its contribution to the body of research. How unique is your proposal? What is the factor which makes it outstanding? Our goal is to communicate that so that a reviewer will appreciate the essence and relevance of our work. The goals and objectives of the proposal must hit the nail right on the head. We ought to avoid writing in overly complex manner, which will in turn cloud the meaning of the goals and objectives. This will make it difficult for the reviewer to understand the brilliant idea we wish to communicate. Thirdly, we are to know our funders' priority and tender the proposals accordingly. As Sanchu in his book, The Art of War said, and I quote, "If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of a 100 battle." The authors point out the need to understand the funders, their mission, vision, and objectives, and use that information as a lighthouse to sail through the storms of seeking funding and safely land on the shores of getting approved. The mission of the funders spell out their scope of research they are interested in. The mission and vision and objectives of the funders should factor into our very own proposal goals and objectives. Your proposal needs to explicitly address how it will fit in the funders' general mission and current priority areas. They should align with the funders' mission and current priorities. Fourthly, we are to take the perspective of a busy, overworked, tired reviewer. The authors draw our attention to the fact that reviewers of grant proposals are reviewing a lot of articles along their daily schedules. As such, we should try to make our proposals as easy to read as possible by putting in clear headlines and explanatory narratives, as well as to have proposals which are visually appealing. As the authors put it, help your exhausted reviewer help you. The research project should have a logical flow from one paragraph to the other, giving your writing a train of thought to be easily followed and understood. Our narrative should be catchy and informative. The easier it is to read and find critical information, the happier the reviewers will be. And trust you me, we will be very happy if the reviewer is happy. Lastly, we are to avoid clouding our proposals in ambiguity, which will frustrate the reviewer. Frustrating the reviewers only color the perception of our grant proposals. Lastly, our authors encourage us to bear in mind that persistence prevails. We are encouraged as researchers to be persistent in our writing of our grants to various organizations. Funders normally receive a tremendous amount of proposals against their limited funds, thus they may not be able to have all the funds to spare for all the grants application received. This only drives the point that failure in getting a grant does not necessarily mean we should give up, but we should continue to try and try again. But when you fail, it simply means that try and try again. The authors tell us to rather address the critics which will come from funders and use this feedback to improve our skills in our pursuit to get funding for our project. We should pay attention to reviews when communicated to us. And in the event where none is communicated, we should take the liberty to call and speak to the program officer and try to find out the reasons our proposals were rejected. These reviews are critical to developing our skills and increasing our acceptance rate. As the authors ended their paper, they said, persistence will surely pay off. On that note, I end our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Group 9. That's fantastic. Some of the items have been highlighted. Please, any thoughts, any questions? Let us know. Any thoughts, any questions? Okay, I have Idrisu.
Okay, so Prof. good afternoon. So mine is not a question, but an observation I observed from the presentation, what do you call it, their slides. I wanted to know, is it good to, apart from the heading that he has capitalized, is it good to also, capitalize all the, what do you call the important points? Because it was making it very difficult for some of us to follow.
Okay, Idris is taking us outside the grant writing process and bringing us to a scientific presentation. Yeah, it's not the best approach to capitalize this thing. You know, you need to be, because when you use capitals, when you use small letters, those have, in terms of writing, different layers of emphasis. So, and then it can be destructive if really what you are emphasizing is not actually what you have in mind. So be careful when you capitalize things. Yeah, Idris, thanks for bringing us up to that. One of the ASFI tips and tricks sessions will be looking at scientific presentations, and then we'll highlight some of these issues there. So please, any other issues? If not, I think I will then conclude to remind you, if you have not registered for this event, please do so. Yes, Izuchukwu, I will come in a bit to you. Please register. This is the coming Sunday, 24th. Registration ends on the 22nd, so please. And then the tips and tricks coming up on Friday. Who should be an author in a scientific paper? So please join us. This does not require any pre-registration. And then we have our website and ASFI Twitter account. Some of you are already following. Please do so, and do our best to broadcast and let others know what we are doing here. All right, Izuchukwu, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Bright. Please, mine is on something you said earlier about consistency of style and language in communication, and also flow. I was trying to put that side by side the fact that sometimes it's good to have a team of people who are strong in different areas. So for a proposal, if I write a section I'm strong in, maybe another person writes the methods, maybe I write the aims and justification and all those sides. You definitely will know that two people are writing. For somebody like you that said it's easy for you to pick when two voices are speaking. So is that a weakness, and how can one handle that, knowing that sometimes you may have different team members that write different sections? Is there any way one can do it not to bring out such difference in writing style? Thank you so much.
Yeah, different voices can be a weakness. It also highlights lack of proper coordination. So what you can do, and usually you should do, is it's allowed that different experts will write different sections. But here now, we are not talking about the science, we are talking about the clarity of the writing, which is a grammar, expression, and English thing. So you, who is a coordinating person of all the groups, once people have put their sections, you have to go through and ensure there is consistency in expression. For instance, somebody may be used to writing things like experiment A was done in this way. Another person may be used to, we did experiment A in this way. So you have passive and active voices. So it is good to use a consistent way. If you're using active voice, you use active voice. If you're using passive voice, which is not the best anyway, you use passive voice. The key thing here is to ensure there is consistency, and these things can easily be put in place if after everyone has put their thoughts down, you as a coordinator will now take through and read the whole thing and ensure consistency in expression. I think that will help. I don't know, Chuku, if that helps your question.
Yes, sir, that's fine. Thank you so much.
All
Thank you.
Any other thing? Yes, please put everything, use your WhatsApp groups, please spread this thing. There is no restriction at all. Send to your WhatsApp group our information, our activities. Feel free to do that. Okay. All right. So now I will send you to your breakout.